Hey guys, before we get the video started, I'd like to go off script and say that I know I haven't uploaded a video in like 3 months. I greatly apologize for this. I have been trying to perfect my script writing style, and I have been trying to perfect a lot of things on the channel, and I greatly apologize for the lack of content, and know that there's going to be more content in the future. And with that being said, let's get back to the video.
Where mesh the complexity to grind between their avid, the flesh and soul stuff
of the mortal and infernal both.
Where wars
Its flames hope to devour,
to give life from searing to molten ore and blood a bile a bubble.
where a scratch and the clatter of keys, the cold was illuminate by desperate hand and mind set free by morality, where sparks the wire,
The cable where blends,
where wakes the engine infernal, and where bound
there do you find him, there. And in seeing does he know your heart, your mind. There waits I, Vashtorr. And damnation is my gift.
The God in the Machine, the Master of the Forge, and the Master of the Black Market. These are a couple of titles that Vashtorr has earned for being the demigod of the Forge of Souls. Vashtorr is a being of innovation of mortal beings forged in the warp. He came into being from pursuits of science and innovation, making him possibly as old as the Necrons themselves, as he's able to recall events like the War in Heaven quite vividly. Or is this a twist of tales surrounding him? Vashtorr is a being of metal, science, and ambition, and reaches to no end to achieve his goals in becoming a chaos god to rule among the four. He has mastered the craft of creating demon engines and demon weapons for his own personal gain and curiosity, for how far he can go to bring his invention to its full potential. How far is he willing to go? Crypto scholars believe that Vashtorr came from the warp after humanity's technological dark age, and some say he was created for war to turn the tides. Yet they know not what they have done if this is true. Not a lot is known about him, and he has some spottings from others, but is an arms dealer for demons.
Y'all looking for some cocaine?
To gain more power, he needs contracts. To speak, he uses speakers around him to communicate. He can manipulate technology just like a Bluetooth speaker. He basically manipulates the machine spirits of technology in order to converse with people, making him rather more Lovecraftian than most of the demon characters throughout Warhammer. See, demons in Warhammer and warp entities we're going to kind of cover in this video, and I think they're a very important aspect of Warhammer to illustrate. However, it's important to understand that there are chaos entities that don't serve the chaos gods. While the chaos gods Nurgle, Zeech, Slaanesh, and Khorne
Blood for the blood god!
have their own acolytes and followers in the warp and entities that serve him or them, it's important to understand that not every entity in the warp serves just the chaos gods. There are warp entities that lurk that do not have any kind of relation to the chaos gods. And this is what makes Vashtorr interesting, is because he has essentially a faction all on his own that all of the Chaos Gods benefit from. He's a sort of merchant from the void, if you will. Now, Vashtorr typically keeps to himself. He doesn't get involved in conflicts. He only aids in the manufacture of weapons in his conflicts. You see, Vashtorr is empowered by acts of curiosity and innovation in the warp, shorn of mortality and driven to its darkest extremes. He has only manifested a handful of times in galactic history, and some scholars maintain that he was created amidst a reckless arms race of some ancient galaxy-spanning war. Now, we previously discussed that he might have brought about horrors during the Dark Age of technology, where he proved a patron to many of its technological horrors. He is also said to have been empowered by events such as the rise of the Necrons, born again, and the cursed founding, and possibly even the creation of the Primaris Space Marines. Vashtorr is not a slave of any of the four Chaos Gods, however, instead maintaining his own sphere of influence and unique role within the warp. He is the Lord of the Forge of Souls, and having grown powerful, bartering souls with any demon or damned individual that seeks his services in the acquisition of demonic weaponry. Others are simply enslaved to his will and are forced to join the ranks of his own armies. Now, unlike most of his kind, Vashtorr rarely lies or concedes his true objectives. He establishes explicit contracts with clear terms and conditions, and he has kept the wrath of the Four at bay due to the usefulness of his demon engines to the armies of the Great Game. Now, serving as a premier arms dealer, however, he is far from defenseless and sports his own host of powerful techno-demonic monstrosities. I really wish these techno-demonic monstrosities would actually get models in the game, which is why I would really love if 40K would come out with a Dark Mechanicum army. We already have Dark Mechanicum units. Come on, GW, please. Now, his activities nonetheless have attracted the ire of other demons. Now, most notably Be'lakor, who proceeded to kick his ass during one of the sieges that he was a part of, leading in tandem with Abaddon the Despoiler. Now, despite all he has achieved, Vashtorr has grown dissatisfied with his status. He seeks to become the fifth Chaos God in his own right. Little does he know there's probably already a fifth, but we'll get to him some other time. To that end, he seeks to fulfill a prophecy involving fragments of a mysterious key and entering into an alliance with the aforementioned Abaddon. Now, his proposal to Abaddon is to initiate the construction of the Arks of Omen and the war involving them. During the Arks of Omen campaign, Vashtorr led his own ark, the Aurak Unleashed, in an invasion of the Rock, a fortress monastery of the Dark Angels and home to the key fragment. However, this carefully laid plans were spoiled as the Arkifane was on the cusp of victory thanks to an intervention of his hated rival Be'lakor, who suddenly appeared aboard the Rock with a host of his own. Be'lakor's forces were able to stagnate Vashtorr's advance into the Rock long enough for the Imperial reinforcements to arrive. Enraged, Vashtorr engaged Be'lakor in a great duel that was largely even, with the Dark Master's Shadow Sorcery a match for Vashtorr's technological abilities. However, after scolding Vashtorr for his hubris, Be'lakor departed the war zone and seeing his plans were in ruins. Vashtorr quickly left as well. Afterwards, the Arkifane told Abaddon that not all was lost, and he began devising a new plan focused around the Solnimium Stars. In the Solnimium Stars, the vengeful Unforgiven fleet discovered that Vashtorr had converted the ruins of Caliban into a mechanical monstrosity planet known as the Wormwood. In the subsequent Battle of Iliandros, Vashtorr lost his Ark of Omen, the Aurak Unleashed, and saw Angron defeated by the returned Primarch Lionel Johnson, but succeeded in activating the key, and now the Arkifane seeks the lock within, and with it, the weapon. A weapon of sorts that could give him an edge over the Chaos Gods, as he's currently looking in the webway for this massive super weapon of some kind. Now, Vashtorr has a variety of different abilities, such as one of his most mundane of which is the power to fly extremely swiftly without aerodynamic wings. His wings are made of 4 metal scythe-like blades, and he's able to use these in combat relatively effectively, and they're capable of projecting destructive energy like arc lightning, and he also exudes this like cloud of foul-smelling fog and industrial pollutants. To hide his form, he cloaks his enemies' airwaves, and he is capable of perceiving every single combat component in the enemy's technological advanced weaponry. And he absorbs energy when you fire at him, and he can redirect that energy both to heal himself or of his wounds and send it back to his opponents as energy blasts. He can emit a scrap code war cries that infect enemy war gear, weapons, and Vox systems, which corrupt those devices against their owners. Basically, he has pretty much all control over technology. I really wish he could actually do this in the fucking board game. But it's what makes him one of the more interesting characters. See, Vashtorr has a role in 40k that's actually very similar to a character from Transformers by the name of Shockwave. Now, he has a very cold logic about him that makes him super interesting, and it's what sets him apart from all the other demon characters. Now, with characters like Angron, he's big fucking angry guy that wants to destroy pretty much everything in his path. And then you've got Be'lakor, who's literally basically Satan. Like, he's got giant wings and he consumes people's souls. My beloved. That's the thing, is that like Vashtorr is unique amongst all the other Chaos Gods because he's not a slave to anyone. He's actually one of the only truly free Chaos demons. And this actually makes him arguably one of the more interesting villains in all of 40k. Now, he has appeared in other pieces of literature recently, like the Pariah Crusade, and he was in command of Wormwood. And Vashtorr has been able to manipulate the Magos Gelf in opening a warp rift in the Necrophyllum sector.
Huh?
Necrophyllum sector. Which has allowed his forces to pour into the region during the Pariah Crusade. Now, we don't really know a whole lot about his armies. We know that they're basically just mechanized like amalgamations of metal and wire, and that's kind of what makes his units very interesting. And that's why, honestly, he really does deserve his own army, because like his mechanical nightmare monstrosities that actually appear in the Arcs of Omen books are fucking insane looking. Like, look at this shit. Look at these fucking monstrosities that he's fucking creating. They're kind of insane. And yeah, he's actually become one of my favorite characters. I actually have his model IRL. He's a part of my Black Legion army, and yeah, he's so fucking cool. But yeah, I just wanted to glaze him. What else is there? Oh yeah, Games Workshop. Fucking buff him already. Give him like an energy redirection ability or like a pollutant debuff or something.
I am Captain Pollution!
Like, for fuck's sake, like in 11th edition, he better be a lot better than he currently is. Because if you gave him like an ability where he could, like, if you rolled a 6 or something, he could redirect another energy weapon hit. That would be so fucking cool and would make him a lot more viable on the tabletop. Please make him more viable on the tabletop. All right, bye.